Good morning, I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein with a bunch of salads for you. Only thing is, these salads are warm. That's right, warm. But they are also delicious. Join me as I warm up your salad today here on SoFlo Taste. How fun is that? Good morning, I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein and welcome to the Goya Kitchen at JA World here in Coconut Creek. Who of you doesn't like a cold, crisp salad with crunchy veggies peeking out from under perfectly dressed, fresh leaves of cool green? No one. But do you also like all of the above warm? Well, today I thought it would be fun to give you some really good recipes for salads that are warm. So let's get cooking. The first one would be a roast vegetable salad. I'm just gonna start with any vegetable that is roastable of the season. So we've got a gorgeous cauliflower, which I am not gonna take these delicious leaves off the bottom. They are so yummy. If you haven't had the leaves from a cauliflower, you should try them. They're really good. I'm just gonna do some slices. I would say that that's probably about a ½ inch slice, and then I'll take the whole thing and cut it down in about 3. So let's go ahead and put that onto a prepared baking sheet with some parchment paper. It already has a little bit of cooking oil sprayed onto it. Whatever we put on this pan has to cook for the same amount of time that the vegetable cooks for. So I think that the onion would probably be most like that in cooking time. So let's go ahead and cut this red onion in half and then get rid of there we go, that little root, and then let's slice it into nice thick slices because that will cook about the same time as the cauliflower will. Let's put this over here but not put it in the oven yet because we haven't done anything to it yet, and of course I like to manipulate things a little with oil and flavoring. The next would be our squash. I've got a piece of butternut squash. This is the top part, the straighter part of it, that's already been peeled. Let's go ahead and cut that in half, and then in half lengthwise, and cut that into nice ½ inch chunks. Put that onto the sheet pan. Next, let's go ahead and use a delicata squash that you don't get very often. This is the perfect time to use delicata. So go ahead and cut that squash in half lengthwise. I'm going to go ahead and use a spoon to remove the seeds from this squash very easily, like so. Then I'm going to avoid the top because the top's a little bit hard. We don't want to eat that part. So let's get rid of that as well. And let's go ahead and slice that into quarter to ½ inch slice. And I'm going to get rid of the bottom as well because that's a little stiff. Let's go ahead and put that next to the butternut. I also have Brussels sprouts that I already cut in half. Those can go on this tray. And then lastly, we've got some gorgeous carrots. We wash them, we scrub them with a scrubber. You don't actually have to peel them. It would kind of be a shame to peel them. So let's go ahead and choose a couple of colors of them. And let's go ahead and cut these into kind of larger biased size pieces of carrot, and they will be roasted as well. All right, so let's go ahead and place this with the squash because that cooks for about the same amount of time. We want to flavor everything obviously with olive oil, right? So let's bring this a little bit closer. We're going to drizzle some olive oil over the top of all the vegetables. And then let's not go with too much strong flavor because I have a beautiful herbaceous vinaigrette. So I'm going to use some kosher salt and some black pepper. I'm going to put some za'atar on the squash for flavor and some sumac over the lighter vegetables. Go into a really hot oven. I think I have this at about 425, 450. And roast it high so that it gets a lot of color. Higher up in the oven you go, more color you get, more roasty you get. Let's quickly make the vinaigrette and talk about the rest of the ingredients. So I've got fresh thyme and rosemary leaves, some sherry vinegar, Dijon mustard, salt, pepper, and of course, you can use pretty much vegetable or olive oil. It's really up to you, whatever you like. Let's go ahead and chop the herbs. Really nice and fine. Go ahead and put that into a little bowl. Next ingredient you would add is a little bit of Dijon mustard. It can take over everything if you put in too much mustard. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, some sherry vinegar. Go ahead and mix. Now what we're doing is we're breaking up the mustard, and then we're going to make an emulsification with the oil. The mustard needs to break up into the vinegar first. Then you add the oil to help that be more of a smooth emulsified vinaigrette. So little by little, the oil will thicken. It's not a mayonnaise, but the Dijon helps almost act like the egg yolk, and it allows to thicken the vinaigrette. As you can see, this is already becoming nice and creamy and thick. And look how pretty this is. It's creamy, but it's not mayonnaise creamy. So that is our vinaigrette. Then the last of the ingredients is some farro, which is a green wheat, probably the most wholesome wheat. So you just cook this according to package instructions, cooked in water. I also have some pepitas, which are probably my favorites in salad. Pepitas are just the green pumpkin seed. Salted already, delicious. Lastly, I love cooking my sweet potatoes in foil with the tiniest bit of oil, just to make them beautifully creamy. I love to cook them like this. They're just so yummy. I mean, you could just eat them just like this. So yummy. So I'm going to use some of these in the salad as well. This will be the creaminess. That will be the more roasty crunchiness. And then of course we have all these things to give it even more texture. Come right back. We'll finish off the salad together, and I've got more warm salad recipes for you in a hurry.
There's still more from the Goya Kitchen at JA World and Michelle.
Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein asking, may I warm up your salad? Okay, so everything is ready. We've cooked our squash carrots in one pan, our cauliflower, Brussels sprout, onion in another. Here's the sweet potato down on the plate. Let's throw some of the Brussels and the onions into the bowl. Some of the cauliflower. Remember that I left the greens. Check out the greens of the cauliflower. They're roasty and so delicious, and a little hot, by the way. Okay, let's put that in the bowl. Let's take all of our different squashes and carrots. Remember, we've got the skin on this one delicata squash, and of course we have the butternut squash, the flavors of the za'atar. We have a lot going on here. Remember, we made the vinaigrette together, our creamy vinaigrette, no eggs, sherry vinegar, beautiful herbs, and oil. Also, the farro is a lovely filler for the salad, and people love it, and it's really good and healthy. And then finally, I'm going to add a little bit of freshly grated manchego cheese. It just makes the salad even better. So let's mix all this together. Remember, I've got the sweet potatoes down first, but then I'm going to pile all the other stuff right on top of it. Ah, this smells so yummy. And look at all the pretty colors. Just gorgeous for this season. All right, everything is on the plate. The only things we're missing are the pepitas, right over the top. And look how pretty that is. It's got so many textures going on, so many flavors. I feel like it doesn't really even need a protein. All right, so let's move on. This is gonna be a steak salad. Rather than just the arugula salad that I might always make. I've decided to add some chicories into this. So we've got chicory, a type of a frisee, and escarole. Escarole is one of my favorite chicories. Chicories is a type of a lettuce. It's kind of a little more darker green and a little crunchier. We also have a little bit of endive, red and the regular white endive. For the skirt steak, look how gorgeous the skirt steak is. So I'm gonna go ahead and sear my steak. This is a gorgeous churrasco or skirt steak that I found over at Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. I think they might sell one of the best skirt steaks you can get in South Florida. I don't know if you went there for the holidays. My goodness, they were packed. And if you didn't go there for the holidays, you should make a New Year's resolution to get on over there at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood. Take in the incredible variety of meats and seafood and just everything they have. Don't skip the freezer section because they have some really cool things in there too. Go to DelawareChicken.com, call them at 954-983-6831, place an order with them, tell them I sent you, tell them I send my love, and they will absolutely help you with anything you need. I'm only gonna use about half of this skirt steak. I'm just gonna do the tiniest amount of vegetable oil. Let's season this lightly with a little bit of salt. It doesn't really need anything. A good skirt steak doesn't need much. It's one of my favorite eating steaks. It's just so simple. So let's go in the pan. You never need to put a skirt steak in the oven, by the way. As the steak cooks, I'm going to go ahead and get the lettuce ready. I'm also going to throw some tomatoes on the plate. So I'm going to just make like a lovely sliced tomato on the bottom of the plate, and then we'll top it with everything else. Tomatoes are gorgeous right now. I highly recommend using them. So a few on the plate first. Then we're going to chop our escarole and chicory. Now if the bitter, very crisp greens like this are not really your style, you can absolutely use whatever lettuce you love. But I do think that you should try a little bit of these bitter greens in your salad with your steak. Let's just toss everything right into the salad. Let's flip that meat. So I have some freshly chopped basil to add to that. I'm going to go ahead and add some of my favorite extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of vinegar. This is balsamic vinegar from Modena. Let's go ahead and season this, salt and pepper. I'm going to go ahead and add some Parmesan into this. Let's just combine these with our hands gently together. Place the salad down over the tomatoes, like so. Have you ever torn mozzarella with your hands? It's actually quite delicious and natural. Rather than using a knife to cut it, it just kind of tears naturally, and it's a much better eat. Your mouth will appreciate it. It's not like some big chunk. It's just really soft and delicate pieces that the palate seems to enjoy a little bit more. Our steak is ready. I'm gonna go ahead and take it out of the pan. We're gonna let it rest before I cut it, and then I'll put it around the steak, and when you come back, I have something a little more tropical in store for you. So please hurry up, because you won't want to miss it. SoFlo Taste will return right after this. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. We are here at JA World in Coconut Creek, a wonderful place for our children. But here's an event of theirs that's just for us adults. On the night of January 28th, that's only 2 weeks away, JA World will be transformed by the JA Circle of Wise Women into JA Uncorked, where you can stroll through JA World sampling from restaurants and beverage partners and specialty lounges, music, dancing, raffles, auctions, and more. For tickets and information, visit jasouthflorida.org/JA World Uncorked or call them at 954-979-7120. Now back to the food because your salad is getting warm. intentionally, of course. So here is the finished steak, mozzarella, parmesan, and bitter green salad. I think it's rather gorgeous, and it's really hard for me not to dig in, but we have one more to go. Let me tell you what we have. First, I put down some fresh chunks of deliciously sweet pineapple on the plate, but I cut up some smaller pieces of pineapple over here because I think I want to cook them with the ruby red shrimp, which is right here. And again, this is from Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. These are Florida shrimp. They are sweet and delicious and ready to bite into. I've got some Scotch bonnets, cut them in half and cook them and then remove them. For those of you that like it really hot, maybe you'll keep them in there. I've got some limes, I've got some brown sugar, and I've got a little rum because I thought it would go really well with the brown sugar and the pineapple. I also have some limes, which let's go ahead and cut these in half and we'll squeeze them, I think, onto the greens and onto the shrimp as well. Now in this bowl, I have beautiful watercress. Look how gorgeous this is. It's so pretty. But you definitely need to take off some of this bottom woody part to it. So that's what we did. And here is our salad of some beautifully soft watercress. I've decided to use some grapeseed oil in this because it doesn't have much flavor, but it heats up really well. Let's just start throwing the shrimp right in. Let's go ahead and shake it up. And immediately I'm going to add the pineapple and the Scotch bonnet. I love to soften onions rather than put them raw. So I'm going to go ahead and slice up. I don't want to cook it for too long, but I want to throw it in to the pan right before they're done cooking. This is desperately needing a little bit of salt and pepper. So the last thing we're going to do, I'm just going to sprinkle a little brown sugar on this and let's light it up. So I've got the pineapple on the plate, a little squeeze of lime for the shrimp, and a couple squeezes of lime for the watercress. I'm going to throw some Maldon, which is crunchier, larger salt, on the cress, a little bit of olive oil. Let's see how our shrimp are doing. Oh yeah, they are just cooked. Don't want to overcook them. You see how we've already made like a beautiful rum sauce in here. The shrimp are just cooked. The Scotch bonnets are soft. We've softened those onions. The pineapple has a little caramelization to it. Let's go ahead and slice some radishes because I feel like this needs just a little more crunch. So to finish this off, I'm just going to slice some fresh radishes. They're also peppery, but also beautifully crisp. If you want, you can always slice them up ahead of time and place them in some ice water in your fridge. They'll actually last like that a couple of days. Beautiful. All right, so we'll mix the cress with the lime. I've got the big salt, the radishes right over the top, like so. When you all come back, and me too, we're gonna go ahead and finish our salad with this warm, juicy, rum-filled brown sugar pineapple deliciousness. So I'll see you in just a few. Stay tuned to SoFlo Taste. We'll be right back. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste with our last warm salad. We have the watercress, radishes, and fresh pineapple on the plate, all tossed with a little bit of lime and olive oil. And here I have shrimp with sauteed or caramelized pineapple, onions, and of course a little bit of juicy rum to go over the top. Now the Scotch bonnets are in there. I'm going to keep them out, but if you all want them in the salad, you can absolutely fish them out and put them on there. The only thing I feel this salad needs is a little bit of fresh herb. So I've got some mint I just picked and some cilantro, which I don't even need to pick because I love a little bit of the stem. Let's gently slice this up and put right over the top. I would say that is a lovely kind of islandy salad. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Did you like the idea of warm salads? They are really good and I hope you try them. Next week I'll be making dips in time for Super Bowl. I'll have crab dip, sweet pea guacamole, and classic onion dip, and a chocolate dipping sauce, all good enough to double dip. So be here, please. Now let's welcome my pal, Elena Capra, back to Saturday mornings. Hey Elena, what's coming up next on SoFlo Home Project?
Hi Michelle, good morning. So today we are going to be talking about giving your home a little love. Coming up on SoFlo Home Project, we're going to be sharing some great tips on how to refresh any space in your home and give it a new look.
So taste buds, be smart, be safe, and be vaccinated. And I'll see y'all here next week. Goodbye and very good taste. Warmest regards.